The second and final season of Punisher has been uploaded to Netflix, and we pick up once again with Frank Castle roughly about a year after the events of the first season. He's on the road, he's trying to stay away from the violence and the punishing, he's trying to live a somewhat normal life, but pretty soon he's drawn back into the violence when he sees a girl being harassed by some bad guys in a bar, so now he's trying to protect this girl from some bad people, and then pretty soon Billy Russo comes back on the scene, and now we have our second and again final season of Punisher. That is one of the unfortunate things about season 2, is that stigma that knowing that this is going to be the last season, because Netflix has cancelled all the other Marvel shows minus Jessica Jones because season 3 of that's still coming, so it's just a matter of time before Punisher gets the axe. I tried to detach that, I tried not to think about that when watching season 2, so putting that aside, how is the Punisher season 2? In my opinion, pretty good. I enjoyed it, but it was a step down from season 1 for me. First off, Frank Castle / Punisher is still an incredibly compelling protagonist. You still really care about him, you're still rooting for him in his goals and his quests, and every time he goes in there and just beats the living brutal crap out of a bunch of guys is incredibly satisfying, incredibly entertaining, and it's the kind of gratification that you don't really get in a lot of stuff nowadays, and it's one of the things I'm going to miss the most about the Marvel Netflix stuff, is Frank Castle punishing a whole bunch of guys who do deserve to be punished in brutal, gory, and incredibly violent ways. That being said as well, the action scenes, the fight scenes, the gun shootouts are all still very well done, very entertaining. The first episode, Frank Castle beats the living crap out of a load of guys in a bar who's trying to get after this girl. That was awesome, really, really violent. I forget just how violent these shows actually are, the Marvel Netflix shows, and every single time I'm just like, oh, bloody hell, Frank Castle, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. There's also another really brutal fight scene in a gym in like episode 5, I think it is. Episode 3, there's a scene where Frank just goes into the woods and he's just a one-man army picking guys off with a machine gun. He's like being really tactical about it. That was awesome. All the action scenes, all the fight scenes in Punisher Season 2, very entertaining, very well done, big thumbs up from me. I like what they do with the villains in Season 2 as well, like Billy Russo, he's really traumatized and he's got like PTSD after what happened at the end of Season 1 with Frank smashing his face against that mirror, completely disfiguring his face. He's got memory loss, he can't remember why Frank wants to kill him, he doesn't remember any of the bad stuff that he did, and he's just trying to find his place in the world, kind of going back to one of the things in Season 1 with those veterans trying to find their place in the world after they've served their time in the army and the Marines and all that stuff. Similar kind of thing with Billy Russo, but in a more deranged way because he's just completely out of his mind, batshit crazy. And because of that, he's also a really unpredictable villain as well, because he's just completely out of his mind. You don't know what he's going to do next, and every time he does something, he just snaps. It's kind of unsettling to watch sometimes. There's also another villain, John Pilgrim. He's the guy who's going after the girl who Frank's trying to protect him from. And at first, he was kind of menacing, he was kind of creepy, but I was like, what's the deal with this guy? Because he's just a guy going after the girl, but later on in the series, he starts having a bit of a crisis of faith because he's kind of a religious nut job. And I like where they take him eventually. You know, there's dimensions to his character that I didn't expect, and layers that I didn't expect, so I appreciated that. But Season 2 for me kind of faltered in the story department. It wasn't as compelling as Season 1's story. Like Season 1, you had Frank Castle going after the guys and people responsible for the death of his family. So that's your instant emotional hook into Frank Castle, and that's why you care about him in Season 1. But you also had that really engaging, really involving conspiracy, espionage story going on. Season 2, really, when it all boils down to it, it's good guys and bad guys. Really, that's what's going on in Season 2. Frank Castle's trying to protect the girl from the Pilgrim character, Billy Russo's doing some stuff and Frank's going after him because he's batshit crazy, like I said, he's got to stop him from doing whatever. That's explaining it really, really basically, but generally speaking, that is what's going on in Season 2. There just wasn't as much weight and as much substance to the stuff going on than there was in Season 1 for me. Also, towards the middle and a little bit towards the end as well, it got a bit choppy and a little bit muddled in terms of the focus of the show. Like one episode, Frank will be going after Billy Russo and trying to put an end to him, and then in the very next episode he'll be going after the Pilgrim character, trying to protect the girl and doing that stuff. If you were to ask me who is the main villain of Punisher Season 2, I'd be like, I'm not sure. I could tell you that Billy Russo and John Pilgrim are the villains of Season 2, but the main villain, the central antagonist, I don't know, because sometimes Billy Russo is, sometimes John Pilgrim is. It's just that it lacks a little bit of focus sometimes. It's a little bit jumbled and a little bit messy at parts in terms of who's Frank going after, who's his number one target. So from a story and a character standpoint, I wish Punisher Season 2 was a bit stronger. I wish it packed more of a punch. I wish it was more compelling, more investing. But as a piece of entertainment, it still works. I was still thoroughly entertained in the action sequences. Again, really violent, really blooded, really well done. done. I still like Frank Castle as a protagonist. It's a shame we're not going to see Jon Bernthal play this character again because he's so damn good. There's quite a few scenes in season 2 where Frank is explaining something to somebody, like he's explaining his mindset and he's like pouring his heart out, and you really feel for the guy because of Jon Bernthal's incredible performance. So for nothing else, watch Punisher season 2 for the great action scenes and Jon Bernthal's incredible performance as Frank Castle. Try not let the fact that this is probably the final season of Punisher stifle your enjoyment or stifle your want to watch the show. Watch Punisher season 2 because it's the second to last Marvel Netflix show we're ever going to get, so try and cling on to it while it lasts. It's still a fun ride, I still enjoyed it, so I'm going to go 3.5 out of 5 for Punisher season 2. So did you guys watch Punisher season 2 this weekend? What did you think about it? Did you like it more than season 1 or vice versa? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know down there, and if you want to see more of my stuff, click on one of these in a second, and I'll see you all next time.